I'm going to guess that you're not hitting every fairway on every hole, and you're not hitting every green on every hole. And if that's the case, then you could probably benefit for a little bit more club face control and developing your ability to square the club face. In this video, I'm going to keep it super simple. This is a drill, this is an exercise that everybody could do, and I would encourage everybody to actually do this in practice. When we look at the great players, the world's best on the men's and the ladies tour, they have not only got the ability to square the club face, but it actually goes one step further than that. They've got ultimate club face control, so they can actually position the club face at impact exactly where they want. Slightly open, slightly closed, perfectly square. So don't think about squaring the club face as a position that you need to hit or you need to train. Think of it as a skill that you need to develop. I'm going to get a 7-iron, I'm going to hit some shots over a really quite short distance, so maybe 60, 70 yards max. And all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my setup condition, I'm going to be making a little backswing, hitting that ball out there, that distance that we mentioned, and thinking about where I end up. Think about this. If I wanted this first shot to finish left of target, I would try and get the toe of the golf club further left than the heel. Hopefully you can see that there. That club face would also point down to the ground. But from my point of view, the toe is further left than the heel. If I wanted that ball to finish on the right, I would make sure that the toe was significantly out to the right of the heel. That club face now points more up. The neutral shot, which is generally considered the most difficult one, is going to be pretty much where the leading edge of the club is matched to your body angle. So you can see I'm slightly tipped over, matching that somewhere between there and probably about vertical. Really simple. Take a 7-iron, work through those 3 positions at the end, see where the ball goes. So I've got my target out there, which is the tree in the distance. First one, a little left shot. Okay, now I actually didn't strike that particularly well, but you can see where the club face is. The toe was certainly more left than the heel. Ball went off to the left. That was a successful shot. Same thing, but this time I'm going to try and hit the ball out to the right. Okay, and you can see that ball went way out to the right, and again, a very, very different club face position on the way through. And so the final one, okay, follow through went a little bit further than I wanted, but there's my club face position, which is sort of between that point there that we referenced and vertical. If we took the club away, really simply, think about your trail hand. What was I trying to do? Well, on the left one, I was trying to get my trail hand to climb over the top of the golf club more. Palm faces more down to the ground. The one out to the right, I was trying to leave my palm facing up. And the one that was straight, I was trying to get it to sort of finish more in this almost handshake position, as if I was going to shake someone's hand over here. And this is where so many golfers that I see really struggle. During the backswing, they get the club face really out of position. They will often over-rotate the club face. Now when that happens, does the same thing apply on the way through? Of course it does, but it's so much more difficult because you're giving yourself so much more to do. So the 2 things that are really going to make your life difficult with squaring the club face is, number 1, watch what happens to the club face when I push the handle forwards. The club face tends to want to open. What are the majority of golfers that I see trying to do at impact? They're trying to get the handle more forwards. So what they're trying to do at impact, get the handle forwards in terms of strike, will help, but it opens the club face. So that's something that's going to make the ball go to the right. Those golfers very often in the backswing will fan or open the club face too much. So there's some really quick checkpoints that are going to help you control that face going back. Number 1, in the takeaway, let's get that leading edge matched to your upper body angle. So the club face is slightly turned down because my body is slightly tilted over. That's a great position during that takeaway. Let's move away from this, which happens when we roll the club face open. That's really difficult to recover from because the club face at this stage, even though it's only moved 3 or 4 feet in this direction, really open. Those golfers will often at the top have a very cupped lead wrist. From here, I can't see that club face, but I know it's open because I can see my wrist condition. I want to make sure at the top that my wrist is flat, which for so many of you will have to feel like it's that kind of Dustin Johnson arched position. So going back to really key checkpoints. Leading edge match to body, left wrist flat. What that's going to do, it's going to make sure your club face is controlled. It's what we call neutral, it's in position. Now when you start to worry about getting the handle forwards, we can do that little exercise with the exercise you've just done. Right, big stick, driver. What's the big difference here? Well, the lowest loft of my club, lowest lofted club if you take away the putter. So what we do not want with the driver is to deliver the golf club with the handle forwards. It's not going to help, we're going to have zero loft. With the driver, we have to deliver the club shaft pretty neutral. That's going to give us the most amount of loft. It's going to help us hit up on it. It's different to the irons. Forward shaft for the irons, neutral with the driver. I've placed a tee into the grip on my driver. Here's the little exercise I want you to try and do. I'm going to go down the handle for this little exercise. I'm going to go right to the bottom of the grip. I'm going to take my setup so the club won't reach the driver. Sorry, the club won't reach the ball. I'm going to make my backswing. Those club face checkpoints can still apply. I'm going to work down to delivery. Now you can see where that tee is and where it points. It points pretty much out towards my target. With an iron shot, watch where that tee goes. Can you see it pointing up to the left of me? I'm not sure if my lead arm is in the way, but that tee is pointing up here. It's no good with the driver. With the driver, what I have to do is I have to get the sensation that that tee is actually going to point and hit my trail thigh. This is the feeling, not necessarily the reality. So that would look more like this. We work down to delivery, and then from here, I would get that tee to super quickly reverse back and feel like it's going to thump the thigh on my right leg. Okay, what this does is it starts to get the club head to line up with your hands more at impact. So important with the driver. So key that we get that. Notice how the tee goes from target to thigh, target to thigh. I've seen so many golfers who get themselves into here and then drive the grip forwards, club face way open. You're going to lose balls that way. So I've got this ball teed up. I've got the tee in my driver. I'm going to go ahead and feel it. I'm going to work to here, tee at target, tee feeling like it works back towards my thigh, tee to thigh, tee to thigh. Okay, and I start to square the club face that way. Now what's really interesting about that little exercise, club head, club face, square in the face, none of those were my intention. All my intention was to get that tee to go from target to thigh. And I guarantee if you do that with the driver, the club face will start to square up. So it's a very different release with the driver. We actually have to get the club releasing earlier, and we do not want any shaft lean. If you start putting the release of an iron into the swing of a driver, then it's not going to work and you're going to really struggle. So understanding these two little exercises are going to work with different irons and driver. Oh, that is perfect. Little draw around this par 5. 2 sets of clubs, irons, driver, different releases, different drills. We can work on them both.